All right, guys, just starting to put this thing back together. So what have I been up to? Well, I am in the process of removing some of the accessories that the previous owner of this 2020 Katana had installed. These are heated grips, and yeah, not really something I am all that into. And since I'm putting on a different set of bars, I decided I was going to go ahead and remove these accessories. There was also a 12-volt USB charger thing that I've already taken out. But to get to the controller and everything else for this, I had to take apart all of that. So it was wired into the harness, and whoever did it did a good job wiring it in. So props to them. They tied it into either an existing plug or they got into the harness and created their own plug. So good job there, but I blocked all of that off now. And what I wanted to show you guys, something that does come up with these GSX-S platform bikes is this restrictor. Now, it's a flow restrictor. This comes out and the airbox is allowed full access to these intakes right here. Now, this bike does not have ram air. That's not a big deal. It pulls ambient air from these two sides of the fairing. But this restrictor, it's not so much that it restricts it to that size of a hole. That's not a big deal. But on the back, the way that this thing is contoured, when you install it, it's real narrow in there, like super narrow. I don't know if that's all the best in the world for flow, but we're going to go ahead and do without that. Let me fill you guys in on a couple of things that I ran into along the way with this bike. Okay, guys, and this is fairly common. If you start working on motorcycles that have been worked on, it's these little 3mm hex, there we go, 3mm hex screws that are part of the tightening of the velocity stack to the throttle body. It's real common for guys to forget to tighten those, or they tighten them, but they're not fully seated onto the throttle body. So anyway, the other side on that side was completely loose, and the airbox was actually kicked over like that a little bit, so the velocity stack wasn't all the way down on the throttle body. Does that matter? I don't know, but I've made that right. Also, there is your fuel line connector. Main thing is to make sure that that little pink clip is seated and locked when you put that back onto the gas tank. In this case, it was not locked on. There's a little spring connector in there. I don't think there was any real worry about the thing leaking. Who knows? But anyway, it is kind of a tight fit. I don't think that thing can just pop out, but make sure that you lock that. It is a fuel fitting. You don't want gas going everywhere. And as previously mentioned in another video, yep, there's that owner's manual. So I was able to dig that bad boy out of the tail section. But as I was pulling everything apart, on the other side of the tail section was this freaking awesome Suzuki banner. So thank you, previous owner. A little bit of an Easter egg for me. So got the owner's manual, was bonused the Suzuki banner on the left-hand side on the back side of that cowl. So anyway, there is your update. Post up your comments. Let me know if you've got any questions. I got to get this thing back together. That's a wrap. Adios.